Afternoon, everyone. We're talking about memory. 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 What is memory? It's how we think of things in the past and can remember them in the future. Two ways of thinking about it: short-term memory and long-term memory. Think about going back in time when you were just a child. Just a child. Even before you're born, your brain has certain part of the brain parts collecting memory. Yeah, even before you're born, there are certain sounds that the baby, to be born soon, remembers. Yeah. So basically, take a look at this square right here. So as a young child about to be born, yeah, there are certain sounds. Let's put little dots on it of sounds. Baby doesn't know what they are. Of course not. Can't explain things. The baby is born, and what happens? There are certain sounds, colors, lights, feelings, sensations, textures, things like that. It starts to remember. It goes into the memory of your brain, even though you're very, very young. That's right. Now, certain parts of those sensations develop like pathways, like highways or roads of understanding. So, let's gather some of these dots, some of these dots, some of these dots, and so on. Different pathways, different pathways. As you get older, certain type of incidences or experiences go into your long-term memory. In other words, which means they stay there for a long, long time. And you can instantly remember these things. Yeah, certain experiences which are very vivid, very high detail, you remember goes into your long-term memory. Long-term memory, long-term. Such as riding a bicycle. The first time you rode a bicycle on your own was a very large experience to you, wasn't it? It goes into your long-term memory. Certain things you repeat over and over, their experiences, your memory of it goes into your long-term part of your memory in your brain. In other words, instant recall of that, of that, of that, of that. Every incident involved goes into your long-term memory because it's been repeated so many times. You remember doing this, you remember doing that. It could be art, math, history, whatever subject could be. Usually it's an experience that you really, really remember for a certain reason. It goes into long-term memory. So again, you have different pathways, different pathways, different pathways into your long-term memory, which you remember for long-term. Short-term memory simply means you did something today and it wasn't that important to you. You remember it, true, but it wasn't that vastly important. It stayed in your long-term memory. Yeah. So again, short-term and long-term are two different things going on. Of course, there are many incidents in your life. They overlap each other. I remember doing this, I remember doing that. Because it made such an experience on you, such a lifelong impression on you, it stayed in your long-term memory. Long-term memory. Something that did make such a huge impression on you, it was kind of forgettable. You might call it short-term memory. Short-term memory. You'll notice many times when you're driving a bicycle, driving a car, certain ways, it's like automatic. Automatic, you know which way you're going this way, you're going that way. You don't have to think about it. Yeah. We call that sometimes muscle memory, using our hands and arms and doing things, like playing a sport. Like I played hockey for a long, long time as a goalie. So by muscle memory, my muscles have done this many, many times. They know how to react. Instead of me thinking about it ahead of time, it's automatic. We call that muscle memory. But when it comes to memory, remembering things is based on experience. Certain feelings, certain smells, certain textures, certain tastes of things, using our different five senses. It might go into your long-term memory. So that is the main difference between short-term and long-term. They are different. Learning a language for the very first time. Your brain is making up certain transportation of ideas and information. Remember I told you this before? When you're very, very young, this is like your brain. Different types of information, different pathways are starting to join. You try and get information about this, information of that, by using different pathways or highways or roads of information to create information understanding. Yeah, this is all going back when you're very, very young. Yeah, and your brain was basically at emptiness before you're born. But you learned and you heard different things you heard before you were born. And afterwards, as you learn how to explain things, yeah, your brain information is widening, it's widening, more information. more roadways of understanding of this, understanding of that. That's how your brain works. Even to this day, scientists are not fully understandable about how the brain works when it comes to memory. Because as we get older, all right, it's been proven that memory is chemically produced in your brain. Chemically produced. So for example, your nerve fibers, nerve cells in your brain, part of the brain controlling memory, all right, have certain things around them, all right? Let's say this is a nerve cell, all right? And on that nerve cell is information for a certain memory. I'll make it a little larger, give you an idea. This nerve cell has a certain coating around it, or myelin, around it. As we get older, certain parts of the body turn to, what happens? Break down. So the actual structure of that nerve fiber tends to deteriorate slightly, all right? As information, I'll make an arrow here, is trying to go through to the receptors over here, sometimes that nerve cell, all of a sudden is missing part of that coding. Yeah. So all of a sudden that information going through that line for understanding of something information might be broken. It's like a wire carrying electricity. If it's partially broken, 100% of the memory does not get through. It's hard, isn't it? Yeah. You might see you're losing your memory. You might be, it might not be. It's simply a matter of the body trying to protect itself, all right? Creating better strength on that nerve fiber, all right? And sometimes that leads to memory loss in the future. It does. However, at this time in our life, we remember a lot, don't we? Long-term memory versus short-term memory. This is Lightning ESL. You can always contact me more information about different things of human observation at brian.little324@gmail.com. Till next time, thank you very much. Bye-bye.